Welcome. Thank you for watching this video. I'm Steve. I'm a Mr. House and Tasker user, and I've developed a Tasker integration that allows you to control your phone and for Mr. House to send information to the phone, including notifications, pop-ups, and things of that nature. This is video 1 in the instructional set covering steps 1 through 3 on implementing the code that I've developed. I'm going to assume that you're familiar with Mr. House, have your own user code, voice commands, etc. I also assume that you're familiar with Android, the Google Play Store, how to purchase applications. There are 3 applications that are needed for this. Well, the third one is technically optional. If you go for the full set, all 3 is approximately $10. I think it's actually a little bit less as of the time of this video. The steps that you see on screen is just a subset of all of the steps that are listed in taskerusers.pl. Now, if you're a Mr. House user, you probably don't need these videos, but this overview might make it easier and faster for you to implement, and it may attract new users to Mr. House. The prerequisite that I have for you is, well, you need to have a vanilla Mr. House checked out from GitHub. Currently, this Tasker/Mr. House code is not in master, it's not in stable, but I'm assuming that it soon will be, at least in master. And by the time you watch this video, it may actually be in stable. In any case, look below in the description and you'll see the current link to the GitHub repository that has this code, so that you can check it out, try it for yourself, and see how it works. I also have an older Android phone as an example. That screen is over on the right-hand side. So with that said, let's begin. Step 1 is to enable taskerusers.pl. Let's go to Mr. House Home, set up Mr. House, common code activation. Search for Tasker, check off taskerusers.pl, and click Process Selected Files. See it loaded. Tasker Users PL was now was activated, and we have our first warning on the bottom here that tells you that there's no Tasker interface defined. So hit the back button. So what is step 2? We need to create the initial MHT file. Let's switch over to the code editor so we can see taskerusers.pl. This is a nice example, basic example of this particular file. So for ease, I'm going to copy this and head over to create a new document, and we'll name that Tasker Users MHT, and then drag that over to the code editor. Then we'll resume Tasker Users PL. Copy this text and paste that in Tasker Users MHT in your local code directory. One thing to note is this URL should be changed to a proper URL that actually will open Tasker Link PL on your instance of Mr. House. So far, I have John Doe defined here. This is user number 1. And then device number 1 is connected to user 1. This is an API key that we will be generating later. And this is where we will place the key that we get from Auto Remote. Let's go ahead and save that. And assuming that this IP address is correct, we can take that and go over to our web browser to move over to step 3. And step 3 is testing taskerlink.pl. Let's go to the web browser, open up the screen, and click Tasker Link. And that should be the same URL. Once you have this defined and you're able to open up to this screen, make sure you come back to Tasker Users PL and update this URL to what works in your web browser, and more importantly, what will work from your Android devices, assuming that you're on Wi-Fi. And that concludes step 3, which also concludes this video. So for the next steps, resuming with step 4, continue on to video number 2. And for now, thank you for watching.